On April 27, 2011, an almost unimaginable fury descended upon the southeastern United States. In a span of just hours, 4 separate tornadoes, each rated EF5 on the enhanced Fujita scale, carved paths of unprecedented devastation in modern meteorological records. Houses were obliterated, vehicles hurled like toys, and the very earth was scarred by debris. For the survivors, the scene was nothing short of apocalyptic. Neighborhood after neighborhood reduced to splinters and steel. Trees stripped of bark and branches, pavement gouged and torn. It was the result of a vast, churning atmospheric engine powered by a powerful combination of extreme heat, moisture, and wind shear. Today, we'll explore what gave rise to the 2011 Super Outbreak, examine why April 27th in particular was so deadly, and provide detailed profiles of the Philadelphia, Hackleburg, Phil Campbell, Smithville, and Rainsville EF5 tornadoes that devastated the South. Hello, and welcome to Deadliest Disasters. In late April 2011, a deep trough of low pressure dug into the Central Plains, drawing warm, moisture-laden air northward from the Gulf of Mexico. At mid-levels of the atmosphere, a vigorous jet stream streaked overhead, its winds in excess of 120 knots, providing the lateral shear necessary for supercell organization. Surface temperatures in the lower Mississippi Valley soared into the mid-80s, with dew points rising into the upper 70s. These values more typical of midsummer than spring, generating a huge amount of convective available potential energy known as CAPE. Within this environment, discrete thunderstorms erupted along a dry line in western Arkansas during the afternoon of April 25th. But it was the slow excavation of the trough and steady influx of Gulf moisture over the next 2 days that primed the atmosphere for catastrophe. By April 26th, clusters of supercells, which are storms characterized by persistent, rotating updrafts called mesocyclones, had begun ripping across Mississippi and Alabama, producing several long-track EF3 and EF4 tornadoes. Yet forecasters still anticipated worse. The Storm Prediction Center had issued a rare high-risk outlook for April 27th, signaling their expectation of numerous intense tornadoes and possible EF5 events. April 27th began with dew points lingering near 78 Fahrenheit across central Alabama, creating an atmosphere saturated with latent energy. Weather balloon data from Birmingham, Alabama revealed a deep, unstable boundary layer capped by a strong, dry mid-level inversion. Once this cap collapsed under intense surface heating, explosive updrafts surge upward. The CAPE was measured at one of the highest values ever recorded in the region, providing immense vertical energy. Equally important was the wind profile. From the surface up to 6 kilometers, winds veered from southeast at 20 knots to west-northwest at over 60 knots, yielding bulk shear exceeding 60 knots. This pronounced shear fostered the development of discrete, long-lived supercells, each capable of spawning violent, slow-moving tornadoes. A slow-moving cold front served as a focus for storm initiation, while a residual outflow boundary from the previous night's storms acted as a highway guiding new supercells directly across densely populated towns. Meteorological models and forecasters recognized the threat. The Storm Prediction Center's mesoscale discussion warned of parameters supportive of violent tornadoes. Despite the aggressive warnings, the sheer scale of the outbreak, over 360 confirmed tornadoes across 4 days, overwhelmed warning systems and emergency resources, leaving some communities with mere minutes to seek shelter before encountering the unimaginable. In mid-afternoon, a discrete supercell north of Jackson, Mississippi spawned its tornado west of the city before racing northeast toward Philadelphia, Mississippi. Witnesses described a black wedge over half a mile wide plowing through the eastern edge of the town. Entire blocks of modest frame homes vanished, only foundations remained. Vehicles, picked up like matchsticks, littered fields hundreds of yards away. Asphalt on local roads was scoured clean, revealing raw, sandy soil beneath. Trees were snapped off at trunk level, their limbs penetrated into the earth like arrows. Emergency responders arriving on scene found residents wandering in shock amidst a moonscape of splintered timber and twisted metal. The storm claimed 3 lives and injured 8 more, all from homes that collapsed without warning as the tornado's 900-yard-wide core demolished everything in its path. In the late afternoon light, an even more massive tornado spun up near Hackleburg, leaving a nearly 1.25-mile-wide swath of ruin for over 100 miles. Entire downtown districts were reduced to rubble. Brick buildings collapsed into dust, store signs torn from girders and wrapped around trees like ribbons. The storm's intense suction ripped hundreds of parked cars from lots, mangling them into unrecognizable heaps. In Phil Campbell, a quaint small town that had known no tornado stronger than EF2 in living memory, dozens more lost their lives as their homes were sheared from foundations. The death toll eventually climbed to 71, with well over 145 injured. In the immediate aftermath, vast volunteer armies converged on the area, attempting to pull survivors from debris while battling thunderstorms and darkness. This was the deadliest tornado of the 2011 Super Outbreak and the most powerful tornado the towns have ever witnessed. As the Hackleburg-Phil Campbell storm continued northeast into Tennessee, a new EF5 tornado touched down near Smithville, Mississippi. Neighborhoods were annihilated. Entire blocks of single-family homes vanished, leaving pools of water where streets once lay. Debris was pulverized into fine splinters, heavy steel machinery, tractors and backhoes were fragmented or launched hundreds of yards like missiles. Residents who huddled in small safe rooms described walls imploding inward as the tornado's pressure drop reached an estimated 10 millibars per second. 23 people perished that day, over 137 suffered injuries, and many more faced the trauma of witnessing loved ones' final moments while clinging to hope in concrete shelters that buckled under the onslaught. In the early evening, the same parent supercell that ravaged Geraldine, Alabama, produced an EF5 tornado near Rainsville. In less than 2 minutes, entire manufactured home communities were swept clean. Trailers were mangled beyond recognition, occupants were found with severe blunt force trauma and deep lacerations. The tornado ripped through a dense suburban neighborhood, debarking trees entirely, hurling lumber like javelins. Concrete foundations were fractured and communities forever changed, a testament to the storm's raw power. 25 people died in a matter of minutes. Dozens more were rushed to hospitals with life-threatening injuries. Communications were severed as power and cell phone towers collapsed, slowing rescue efforts and forcing first responders to navigate by landmarks that had nearly vanished off the face of the earth. While the 4 EF5s dominated headlines, the outbreak spawned dozens of other violent twisters. In Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, an EF4 carved a 64-mile track through urban neighborhoods, killing 64 and injuring over 1,000. In Muscle Shoals, Alabama, an EF4 leveled trailer parks and snapped century-old oak trees, leaving residents with life-changing injuries. Each of these storms further taxed already stretched rescue and medical resources, underscoring how a single day's atmospheric volatility can overwhelm even the most robust emergency systems. Overall, the April 25th through 28th outbreak claimed 324 lives and injured more than 3,000 people. Total damages estimated at $10.2 billion, making it the costliest tornado event in U.S. history. Economically, entire industries, construction, forestry, agriculture, faced years of recovery. Psychologically, survivors reported surges of post-traumatic stress disorder, nightmares of collapsing walls, and hypervigilance to every distant rumble of thunder. Communities rallied, forming mutual aid networks, but the emotional scars persisted. Memorials sprang up, simple crosses marking foundations, sculptural walls bearing victims' names. In the wake of the outbreak, meteorologists gained invaluable insights. Mobile Doppler deployments captured wind speeds exceeding 200 miles per hour, mere yards above the ground, a sobering confirmation of EF5 thresholds. Forecasters refined convective allowing models to better simulate the explosive storm growth rates seen on April 27th. Social scientists studied warning response behaviors, leading to public education campaigns stressing the importance of immediate sheltering in interior, windowless rooms rather than bathtubs or closets prone to collapse. While the trends remain uncertain, the 2011 Super Outbreak stands as a stark benchmark. If atmospheric ingredients align in similar fashion, communities must be prepared for devastation on an even larger scale. April 27, 2011 will forever be etched in history. In a single afternoon, 4 EF5 tornadoes demonstrated nature's capacity for wholesale destruction, tearing homes from foundations, stripping forests bare, and claiming hundreds of lives, forever changing communities and the people that call it home. Thank you all for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover. This has been Deadliest Disasters.